Well, I guess you're here because you're looking to see, should you sell your car to Carvana? Well, I decided to make this video because I did sell a car to Carvana. And with so many people, looking to be socially distant and everything in this crazy year we're calling 2020, I figured I'd just take the time to share my experience and give you a little overview of, why I ultimately decided to do it, how the process was, and ultimately, would I recommend it? So my whole story with this began because I had a 2015 Ford Taurus that I was looking to part ways with. It was already paid for. It was just time for me to finally get my dream Mustang. And I've been a huge car enthusiast my whole life. I'm huge into Mustangs, and I just hadn't gone through with it yet. And so I had been looking and ultimately found an older one via private party that I was looking for. And so once I had an idea of that, I wanted to sell my Taurus. And so this wasn't my only car, so I did have some options, which I think is a plus. But at the same time, the general scenario is still going to apply to most people. And so the biggest thing that I would say you're going to have to do, which is what I did, you need to do market research. You need to get on cars.com. You need to get on autotrader.com. Check eBay, check Craigslist, check the flaky zone we all know as Facebook Marketplace. You need to do your research to understand what is your car worth. It's okay to use sites like Kelley Blue Book and NADA to get an idea of, what's a ballpark, but it ultimately comes down to no matter what anyone tries to tell you, it's what your market dictates as the price. What it could be here near Charlotte, North Carolina is different from where I'm from in Massachusetts. It's totally different, so you're gonna have to do that to get a good baseline of the price. After I had a good idea of what dealers were selling my car for, similar, mine was so clean and such low mileage that I knew it's a cream puff. And so I knew that if someone saw the car, they'd probably be more inclined to pay more for it. But I also know that when you have a car that's not exactly worth $3,000, it's going to be harder to sell privately. So for me, I really was looking to see, could I get close to private party by trading it to a dealer or using a service, which is more likely with a service like Carvana. And so after having that baseline, I ended up looking and having an idea of this is the price that I should try to shoot for if I sold it privately, and I'd be okay accepting this much if I was selling it to a dealer or a place like Carvana. And so ultimately what I decided to do is I went on Carvana.com, and I will show you, and it's very straightforward. You just enter your basic info in about the car, your VIN number, blah, 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 and then it's gonna go guide you through. You need to prove whether you own the car or is it under a lien, which just means, it is a loan on it. Mine was paid for, so it was a much easier process, and I think because of that, you're typically gonna get more because that means the dealer doesn't have to do anything. You're just signing over the title to them. So once I accepted the offer, they had to confirm the exception on their end. They had to verify a few things. I had to provide a couple extra documents. And then about 5 to 6 hours later that day, I think it was a Wednesday, they came back and they said, you're all set. We would love to buy your car. When can you do it within this specified window of time? And so I picked a day on a Saturday where they were going to come out. And because of everything with COVID and probably like their whole busyness right now, they just were going to send someone out. We were going to do the transaction, me get paid, me sign all the forms, and then they were just going to park the car in my complex, lock the keys, and then someone would come from Carvana and pick it up on the following Monday. And that's exactly what happened. It was a super simple process. They ended up just having me sign a few legal documents, one of which is just basically releasing the fact that if they need a duplicate title, if the original was lost or stolen or damaged, that they can end up getting another one at the RMV, that's an important form because you'd have to be at the RMV with them at that point. Other than that, it was super simple. They handed me the check after, and off we went our separate ways. And so the big question that people probably have is, is this a good way to sell a car? And it's really not a cut and dry answer. I would honestly tell you, it depends. It depends because if you approached it the way I did, where you did your research, where you knew what your car was worth, and I mean realistically, like realistically what it's worth. I mean, my car is so clean, but I still knew I wasn't going to get top dollar if I didn't. The only way I'm going to get top dollar is by selling it privately, which I didn't really want to do that because it was worth X amount of money, which is not simple for someone to just walk up and hand you, $16,000 cash. I knew that if I got a number close to what I was looking for, then I would be okay with it. And that's ultimately what happened. If you're looking to unload a car and you're desperate, I don't like rash decisions like that. I think it's setting yourself up to make a bad move financially. But I think if you weigh your options and their offer comes in line somewhere within private party, I think it's pretty fair to go because your time's worth something. You're going to have strangers trying to drive your car. You're going to have the flakes of the... I mean, how many times on Facebook do you get, do you still have this? It's enough to make you want to beat your head into the wall. And I just didn't want to deal with that. And so ultimately for me, it worked out really well and I would recommend it. If you're looking to trade in some clunker car, you're not going to get anything. I mean, I've seen some ridiculous offers, like a few $100s for cars that are worth a few thousand. So you got to use your head. This isn't some, magic elixir. You're not going to get some ridiculous offers. You're going to get hopefully a fair offer. But I do think that this is kind of a gravy train right now because Carvana is trying to gain market share, which means they're going to offer more because they want more people to use the service. So how long will it last? I don't know. But all I can say is in my situation, it worked really well. And yes, I would recommend Carvana. I hope that helps some of you guys out there. I appreciate you watching. Feel free to hit the like button and subscribe. I'm looking to make some new content and it'd be really nice to share it with some people out there. So thanks for watching, appreciate it, and we'll see you in the next one. Are you glad we got the Mustang and sold the Taurus? Now we're rolling in style, just the way we need to.